Hey everybody, it's Kelly. Welcome back to another episode of Ask a Therapist. Today we are dispelling myths about men who love men. Are men who love men more effeminate? Are they better dressers? Are they more driven by their sex drives than anything else? All of these are myths out there, and we're going to dispel them right now because none of them are universally true. Number one, that men who love men are more effeminate. This is just not true. Men who love men are just as diverse in their presentation, in their hobbies, in the things that they're even interested in general, as any other group out there. The media as a whole has promoted this idea of the effeminate gay man for so long that this does become a stereotype that some people hold about men who love men. But let's take a look at how this started, right? Back in the days of the Western, men were always stereotypically manly, right? They were gunslingers, they were the law, they were the ones who saved the damsel. Like, it was all very stereotypically manly things that were done by men in media. And so in order to differentiate between the two and let people know these two are different, because, God forbid they actually be the same, easiest way for media to do that was to promote the effeminate gay man. Within this is the assumption that men who love men are more fashionable. This again comes from the media and the understanding that men who are not solely into women must be like women. Okay? And does that stereotype play out in some people? Sure, absolutely. Because that's who they are. Not because all men who love men are interested in fashion or interested in their bodies. In no study in the last 25 years is there any scientifically significant difference in the way that men who love men associate with fashion and the things that are typically associated as feminine or female, and men who are not classified as men who love men and how they see the same. There's no scientific discernible difference. In the 1970s, gay men were in danger. It was not safe to be open and gay. So gay men would put handkerchiefs in the back pocket of their jeans and use that as a signal to tell other gay men they are gay. And the color of the handkerchief, which pocket it was in, that all meant different things to the community that only those in the community understood. It was a way to keep safe and also have those open conversations with people. It's also kind of key to consent, because if you have the handkerchief in your pocket, you are initially consenting to being approached. Whether you consent to more than that or not is a different conversation and should be a conversation, but you are consenting to being approached. I also want to really identify the way that women have made this stereotype worse for men who love men. Because this idea of like a gay best friend, like,
I want a gay best friend so that we can go shopping together and talk about boys together, and it's just like having a best friend, but it's a guy, so it's different.
Or
it's just like having a boyfriend, but he's not constantly pressuring you to have sex.
Those stereotypes are not only harmful to the queer community, but it really, really lets the straight male narrative off the hook. We should not be having to hide from straight men because they make us feel endangered. The onus should be on straight men who make us feel endangered to clean up their act. But to continue this stereotype of a gay best friend is the best of all worlds is actually harmful to the queer community. Let's be specific. I'm talking about the stereotype out there that so many women aspire to and keep going in order to get the best of all the worlds. It's honestly inappropriate because it's legitimately treating people as objects that you want to acquire to feel better about yourself. Stop doing that. How about the stereotype about frequent, unprotected, and promiscuous sex in men who love men? There is no scientifically significant difference, which means the numbers do not fall outside of the standard deviation when we look at how often men who love men or people who are not men who love men have sex. There's no difference. 15% of all men say they have low interest in sex. There's a lot to that percentage, and I think it's probably higher because there's that stereotype out there that if you are a man and you have a low interest in sex, maybe there's something wrong with you. There does not have to be something wrong with you to feel that way. I want you to know that, gay or straight, there doesn't have to be something wrong with you to feel like that. But again, there's no notable difference between straight and gay men in this genre. How often they want sex, how often they have sex, typically depends on partner availability. But the idea that there's a higher sex drive comes from that societally pushed idea that men who love men are predators. And for some reason, we never address the straight men who are predators. This stereotype is really harmful to the queer community. Someone made them gay. What? No, for real, what? Did someone make you straight? These assumptions are harmful to the queer community and need to stop. So this last one is super interesting to me because it came up a lot, and I went and did some deep dive research for you, so you don't have to. But it's the idea that they're not interested in permanence. In other words, they have multiple partners and go from partner to partner and maybe don't actually want to settle down or don't want to get married. There's some understanding in this that does come from society and the fact that it was not okay for people who were queer to get married to a same-sex partner because permanence in the relationship was very much a heterosexual thing. Many in the queer community shy away from it, have shied away from it, and kind of sometimes still do in order to throw off the bonds of heteronormativity, right? But the majority of that is due to comp het, and numbers-wise does not hold up. Listen to these stats. So I'm going to read you some stats of people who are in same-sex relationships, so either two women or two men in the relationship, married or unmarried. Okay, so of the subset of the United States, of the married same-sex relationships, 53.4% are female and 47.9% are male. That's pretty even. That does not demonstrate a population of people who are afraid of commitment and not wanting commitment. And in fact, when we go into the unmarried adults who classify themselves as looking for a same-sex partner, of the unmarried population, 52.1% are female and 47.9% are male. There's not a huge difference there, y'all. Especially not when you look at the stereotypes of women who love women that we talked about before, because one of those stereotypes is that they settle down so fast and they settle down so permanently. How would the numbers be so similar if one group settles down so permanently and fast and the other one doesn't settle down at all? Now, before you go into,
age and when they get older, blah, blah.
Okay, cool story. Let's talk about that. The percentage of same-sex married couples outpaces the percentage of opposite-sex married couples from the age of 25 up until the age of 54. So we're going to put the caveat out there that not every opposite-sex married couple is a straight couple, because some of them could still be queer couples, right? But we're just going in the two men or two women or a man and a woman married. So on this chart, the majority of married couples were same-sex married couples from 25 to 54. From 55 to 64, they're equal. Opposite-sex married couples and same-sex married couples were equal in the percentage of the population that were in these married relationships. And then after the age of 65 is where the opposite-sex married couples really doubles and sometimes triples that of the same-sex married couples. Doesn't that make sense, though? Think about the people who were over the age of 65 and the way that the world was when they were coming out and figuring out who they are. They very likely have constructed their lives in a way that they didn't expect to have marriage and maybe don't want it. The societal norms of people when they are growing up, as they are understanding who they are, have so much to do with how they present themselves later in life and what societal institutions they buy into and which ones they don't. That doesn't make it true for everyone who has the same type of sexual attraction they have. There you go. There's the biggest myths about men who love men. If you have any other suggestions of assumptions you want me to address, go ahead and drop them in the comments below. I would love to do another video on this. That's it for today. Thank you so much for being here. I will see you all next time. And until then, take care of yourselves and each other. And happy Pride.